I am Maxine Snapka, and I live in Corpus Christi, Texas, a city of which I'm very, very fond. Wouldn't live anywhere else.
Hello, and welcome to Honoring Legends, a new series from the United Corpus Christi Chamber of Commerce, where we celebrate the people and stories that help shape our city. For our very first edition, we had the honor of sitting down with a true Corpus Christi legend, Maxine Snapka. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it might be from a Friday night after a football game, a Sunday afternoon with your family after church, or the place where generations of Corpus Christi residents shared a meal and made memories. In 1947, Maxine and her husband Method opened a small restaurant that would grow into one of the most iconic gathering places in the coastal bend, Snapka's. For decades, it wasn't just somewhere to eat, it was where Corpus Christi came together. This is the story of the woman behind the counter, the partnership that built it, and the legacy that became part of growing up in this city. To understand how it all came together, we have to go back to the Corpus Christi of the 1940s.
I worked at the Naval Air Station in Purchase Division, and we were selling prisoner war huts. The huts went for $12 to $15 each. They were not double-walled. They were single-walled, single-floor, and the prisoners stayed there. In the daytime, we would watch the prisoners, the German prisoners, walk down the road. They didn't look any serious, like they were formidable people. They were kind of short, I guess, like me, but they would walk in line, and we would watch them.
It was during these years that Maxine met her future husband Method, the beginning of a partnership that would shape both of their lives.
The way I met him was that, this one man told Method that there were some prisoner war huts to buy, and he went out there. When he did, he decided he wanted to ask me out. By that time, my boyfriends, they were based away, one in Attu, one in Alaska, and so I was pretty bored, and I was telling this friend, I wish I had a place to go. I wanted to go to the Moravian Hall, because the Moravian Hall is where we used to go dancing. I wouldn't go to a nightclub. My parents wouldn't let me do that. And the only place that would be acceptable to them would be the Moravian Hall. Well, Method came up, and I think it was on a Wednesday. So he asked me if I would like to go out. And I said, well, I'm busy. So then we worked, and we went from Wednesday to Thursday to Friday and Saturday. And finally I said I could go. And all it was just that I wanted to go there. Well, he went out and he bought a suit jacket with leather on this, and I bought a new dress, and it was black with a fuchsia stripe across it. And when we went out, we discovered that we had a lot in common. But anyway, we had our dates, and after that, I just didn't go with anyone else. It was strange, but that was it. And in fact, we have a picture, a street picture that was taken of us when we were walking down the street in Corpus Christi.
By the time that photograph was taken, their courtship had become serious, and that meant meeting her family.
Papa always wanted to know, "Where were your parents?" And he said, "Well, they came over a generation ago. And Papa and Mama came over 4 months after the Titanic sank. So they had something in common, both from foreign nations." And what amazed me was the fact that when Methodist was sitting there, he sat with his arms relaxed and talked to Papa. Never got nervous like any of the others did. Whenever any of the others come, they'd shuffle their feet and, be nervous. And so when I started going with Method, that was it. I never went with another person. He was it.
With their future together decided, their first plan was to head to the valley.
Method decided to go down to the valley and take Rudy with him, and they were going to open a drive-in in the valley. Well, he had an old 41 Oldsmobile and didn't run very well. So it broke down in Robstown. That annoyed Method, but he looked across the road at the railroad tracks and said, "Well, I guess that's probably a good spot for it." So he built a little drive-in over there. When I mean a little drive-in, it's a small building still standing, but it's twice the size of what it was. And we opened the doors one day, wrote on a card, "Open for business." We could not believe it. The cars flocked in, and we made $250 that first evening when he opened it, which was a lot of money then,
And to this day, she talks about the first time they opened with the same sense of joy.
Excited. How could you not be? The people flocked in. See, it was just Robstown, and it was a small town. Nothing ever went on out there. And when we opened the doors, they just flocked in. That $250 that night was a big deal.
And before long, their work and their family were under the same roof.
We put the children up there, and then they got to where they could pull the drinks, and then they got to where they could even go in the kitchen a little. Not too much, but a little. Both children grew up knowing what it was to work every phase of the drive-in, from the front to the back.
But it wasn't just busy inside.
After Miller would be out, the school would be out, the football and everything would be out, we'd make a rush and dash to the drive-in to be able to wait on them and take care of them.
And every now and then, one of those moments would say everything.
Method went out. When the kids had beer in the car, he'd reach in, take the beer out, pour it on the ground, haul them in the drive-in, give them hamburgers and soft drinks to be sure they were good and sober when they came in. And I remember one lady said, "Oh, Mr. Snapka, thank you so much for keeping care of my son." She said his father died, and I don't know what I would have done if you were watching over him. But Method did, because he took that kid and he got rid of that beer and got him in there. And then when he was drafted and went overseas, he would write us all the time and say he could scarcely wait till he got back to Snapka's. And when he did come back, we were all I was so afraid something would happen to him. It was the Vietnam War. And I was so afraid something would happen to him before he got back. But he's back and he still comes.
Then came Hurricane Celia, a day no one in Corpus Christi would ever forget.
Highway 9, which is the largest drive-in, was had two sides, no roof, and the insurance that we had said it would only take $7,000 to repair. Well, that was about as ridiculous as you could think, because you could look at that place and see that you couldn't do it.
That's when Maxine went to work.
You could have arts and crafts shows, you know, and I was at State Fair for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years in the craft village. And I would sell it. I would come at 7 in the morning and had my little kiln with me, and I would paint until they opened. It was either 10 or 11. And then I'd go ahead and sell. And it was the strangest thing that you could sell that jewelry like crazy. And that's how we got those payments, made those payments.
Because she fought to keep Snapkas alive, this is what people still experience today.
Besides the excellent food that we had, well, we just had good service. It's a family place. You bring your children. I brought my children when we opened.
And that's why, for Maxine, Snapkas became more than just a restaurant.
It's my home. I told Joe, this one person that used to work for us years and years ago went to California, went to different places, managed all sorts of businesses, so he retired. Then he decided he was tired, he wanted to work. He came to the drive-in and asked if he could have a job in the kitchen. Well, it didn't take long before we had Grandpa Joe managing that place, and he does to this day. And I always like to go there on Fridays normally, and I'll sit there with him, and we'll discuss all sorts of things. I told him one time, I don't have any relatives in the United States too much, because my relatives were still in Germany. And so I told Joe one time, I said, y'all are my family, and he loves it. So we sit there and we discuss it, but we discuss the things, and as far as I'm concerned, he's my relative, he's my family.
And when she looks back on it all, this is what she hopes they'll say.
Well, I hope they'll say that it was a real good place, that they loved coming. And I love Corpus Christi.